All right, we're live. So, yeah, how you guys doing? Nobody's online yet. There was an impromptu live stream. But you know what I'm going to do? In about a minute, I'm going to jump into the subject as indicated in the title. We're going to look at Pythons. Python is now the programming language of the year, according to who? We'll find out in a second. Yeah, so is anybody going to show up? We'll see. So you know what? I'm just going to jump into the subject and they can watch the replay and we'll just take it from there. All right, so yeah, let's go into it. All right, so Python edges C++ for TIOB's programming language of the year. The TIOB Index of Programming Languages popularity identified Python and C++ as the language with the greatest increases in popularity in 2020. Let us read on. These are one of these articles where I didn't pre-read, so we'll see what happens. For the fourth time, Python has won TIOB's Programming Language of the Year award, given to the language gaining the most popularity in 1 year. In winning the designation in 2020, Python jumped 2.01 percentage points last year in the index, edging out C++, which increased 1.99 percentage points. Easy to learn Python, TIOB said, has become the favorite in fields such as machine learning and data science, while being used for web development, back-end programming, mobile applications, and embedded systems. So Python is extremely flexible, as it seems. Yeah, let's get into it. Overall, Python remains the third most popular language behind C and Java in the January 2021 edition of the index, which is based on a formula assessing searches in popular search engines. Python had leapfrogged Java for second place in the November index, but fell back to third place in December. Java has been the number one language in the index until falling behind C last May, with TIOB speculating that the COVID-19 pandemic had sparked a surge in C-based development related to C's use in medical devices. Oh, that's interesting. With a rating of 11.96% this month, Java lost nearly 5 percentage points from its January 2020 ranking. Other languages that gained last year, including C, Groovy, wow, R. The top 10 of the TIOB index in January 2021 are as follows: C, Java, Python, C++, C Sharp, Visual Basic, wow, JavaScript, PHP, R, and Groovy. Yep. PHP is dead, everybody. Any alternative PYPL, Popularity of Programming Language Index. There's many of these indexes out there, by the way, which looks at how often language tutorials are searched in Google. The top 10 for January are as follows: Python, Java, JavaScript, C Sharp, C++, PHP. I don't know what, this is weird. They forgot the language here. Objective-C, Swift, TypeScript. Where's Ruby? Okay, that's it. So that's a pretty short article. So let me just give you my quick comments on this. You got to take all these indexes with a grain of salt, but it's pretty good. You know, search engines, I like that better than surveys because you're just looking at raw searches. So I think it's probably the more accurate account index rather than saying going to Stack Overflow or going to GitHub, because those might emphasize a particular type of programmer, whereas you just do Google search engine, I think it's pretty broad-based. Yeah, as you can see, it's usually the same languages that are in the top 10 always. We go back to the article, where is that? Let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's usually the same set: C, Java, Python, always in different words. Visual Basic surprises me, but I've seen that before. So a lot of people are still using Visual Basic. I wonder what that is. I bet you that's office automation, like you're writing Excel macros and stuff like that. JavaScript, PHP, R, Groovy. R surprises me, but I guess it's the data sciences. It's a jump. Yeah, and if you look at another index, again, see, it's the same group of languages. Python, for the most part, just in slightly different order. Python, Java, JavaScript, C Sharp, C++, PHP, I don't know, they made a mistake with number 7. Objective-C, was that in a previous list? Was not. Swift and TypeScript. So it depends on the list. But, you know, so if you learn Python, you learn any of these, Python, Java, JavaScript, C#, you can't really go wrong with any of these. One thing I like to point out is that this is the only language in the list that is dedicated totally to server-side programming. Yeah. I like Matthew's comment there. That's pretty good. Yeah, you're skewing everything, buddy. Yeah, so there you go. I think you'll see that with PHP, for example, it's only used for one thing, server-side programming, whereas all the other languages, there's a variety of use cases. C, of course, you know. What else? Java, many use cases. Although, you know, Android, a lot of Android in there. Python, many use cases. C++, you know. So when it comes to the web, I would imagine, I haven't seen recent surveys, but when it comes to this web app development, you're probably going to see that for the server side, PHP is probably most widely used for server side web programming. Yeah, and there you go. It's hello, hello. I hope everybody is well. Yeah, that's what I thought too, you know. Where's Ruby? Where is Ruby? Anyway, there we go. Hello from Peru. Hey, how you doing? Small group tonight. Wow, 36. That's what I pop a stream on. People, they don't get on. Yeah, so yeah, I was late. I was out and couldn't get to the stream until now. So there you go. That's the article. Info World. Let me just put you can look at the URLs right up here, and you can yeah, there it is. You can go just type in Info World TIOBE index ratings, and you'll get your if you want to read it. But that's pretty much it. It's pretty short. All right, that's not bad. All right, so this is like a small, intimate YouTube stream right now. Any questions while you have me on? Any questions while you have me on? 7:35. Let me know. That's all I got right now. If you're part of the mentoring group, Matthew, the money course is now live in the forum if you want to take a look at that. It's about 30 minutes of video. How are you 169? I don't know. I think it's it's bots and AI that made that possible. That's my only guess. Yeah. I don't see Swift anywhere. Well, there's Swift on the second list. Again, you got to take all these lists and these ratings with a grain of salt, you know. At the end of the day, it depends where. But, you know, the fact that they're looking at searches, but I think it was the increase. Let me look at they measure the increase, right? We'll see, hold on. How does it work? I guess it's just the amount of raw searches, right? Maybe people don't search on Google for Swift, maybe because they just use the documentation on Apple. Maybe that's why. Again, when you're evaluating these things, you have to really consider a bunch of factors, right? All right, well, should I learn React Native in 2021? If you know JavaScript, you know. I always tell people, look at the job market, dabble in a few things to decide whether or not you want to learn something. It really depends, you know. Vanilla PHP enough to get a job, or is a framework necessary also? It depends. If you have a framework skills, you get a higher paying job and you have more opportunity. But I've seen people get jobs with just vanilla PHP, there's no question. What's your machine learning roadmap? I do not have one. I don't plan to get into machine learning personally, not because I think it's not cool. I think it's very cool. I just don't, it's not my interest, you know. Stef, any advice on how to approach browser compatibility when working with JavaScript? Use feature detection or browser sniffing. Do you really have to do that these days? Do you really have to do that? Generally speaking, people go for feature detection, because you never know what browsers and stuff. But I'm surprised you're asking me that question. I think most of the browsers, they're using a very consistent engine in that regard. But yeah, that's what I would do, feature-based. How important or how big impact is PHP 8 for a PHP community? It's not that important unless you're in the enterprise level. As far as I understand, PHP 8 is more about just bringing more enterprise level capability to PHP rather than anything else. Yeah. I'm building an app for a school to help schedule their conferences for storing the time. Should I use SQL or no SQL? Depends if you need to create relationships between the scheduled times and the conferences. If there's no complex relationships, you might be able to use NoSQL for that. Although it's a real simple SQL query, right? So, can you share your thoughts with Ruby on Rails 2021? My thoughts on Ruby on Rails, new to the channel, I guess. I don't know. I haven't been following what Ruby guys are doing. I'm sure it's still viable as a framework, but it's becoming more and more niche. I don't think it's going to go disappear anytime soon. Code Fusion is still around as an example, but I don't follow it too closely. But I'm sure you can produce very good apps with it. Is Golang a good choice for freelance web development or web dev in general? I don't know about freelance. I think Go is kind of a stream quality has been automatically lower. I'm getting a lot of stream quality issues. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to check. Maybe it's my internet, it's my router. Yeah, Golang is more of a niche thing. Again, let the job searches dictate all that to you. Hey, I just want to thank you for offering your knowledge to everyone. Started learning about coding recently. You've been very helpful. Glad I could help. From Virginia moving to Caribbean this year. Hey, congratulations on the move. Sounds like a good move. All right. Will sticking with JavaScript for 5 to 10 years will be a good choice? You got to move beyond thinking about you're going to be a coder, a JavaScript coder, or a Python coder, or C# coder. You think in terms of I'm just a developer, I'm just a coder, and then you'll find in your career, especially within 5 to 10 years, you probably find yourself jumping from one language to the next, depending on the needs of the job. What's the preferred web stack for freelancing? PHP, Laravel. I started learning Python. Congratulations. Good. Yeah. I got a Python course. You may want to check it out if you want to learn all the basics, OOP and functions and all the different collection types, etc. Yeah, they're starting to disappoint me too as well. I got to find out. I got to diagnose that problem. I meant to do it today. It's been coming up all the time now. It could be because of COVID. People are just staying home and overloading the pipes. I'm not sure. Could be my router though. I have an old Mac router. Can I get a job if I learn JS and React? I have no experience. Sure, but you can watch previous videos on this channel. Just dig through. You find where I give detailed instructions how to set yourself up to get a job. All right. How are we doing here? 70 people. Okay. Hello. Hey, hello, hologram. How are you? Good. He knows the official channel salute here. Peru. What part of Peru are you from? I visited Iquitos in Peru. I like that place. Cool. Hey, Stefan from Chicago. How are you? Hey, thanks for joining the stream. What's going on? Hello from Haiti. Hey, thanks for joining, Zachariah. Yeah. Hello. Visual Basic. Yeah. Okay, we got this. What else do we got going on here? I have not checked out Fast API. PHP is the only lang for WordPress module and theme develop. Still an important language in 2020 and beyond. Yeah, that's a good point. Just because of WordPress, PHP is going to be viable for quite a bit of time. Just because of that. No, I have not checked out Fast API. We had some major problems with the stream yesterday, so if it drops out, my apologies. Okay, yeah, I just get warning messages every now and then. I'm not sure what's going on with that. All right, Stefan, I need your advice. I'm a recent biology grad working as a chemist, but want to transition to coding. However, my parents and family want me to be a doctor and won't support my goal of coding. Ooh, well, I would say do what you want to do because you have to live your life and not your parents. Yeah, that's my advice to you. Your parents are not going to like me very much, but you got to do what you like. I would, if I were you, maybe just try coding, start writing code, start doing side jobs. Yeah, then you'll be good. I bought your web dev course a couple years ago, but gave up. Is it up to date if I want to start back up to date? Yeah, my stuff is pretty evergreen because I teach foundations. I do update on a Need2Nerd basis. I update things occasionally when it need to be updated. But what I teach, the foundation of HTML and CSS and JavaScript and PHP and SQL and Python haven't changed, right? They haven't changed. The changes in the last few years have been on the periphery, on stuff I don't cover in the course anyway, and stuff very few people need to know, so you'll be fine. But if you have the old Studio Web 3, then send me an email and I'll give you a free upgrade to the new Studio Web, which has some much better software and has some more refinements. Opinion on JavaScript finding job and software engineering matters. Just you don't need my opinions. Go look on the Indeed.com and see what's going on there. What are your thoughts on Vue? I'm very positive towards Vue. I'm one of the very early Vue supporters, as people can attest to. Can I get your web dev course? Yes, you can. Are you cold? It is cold right now. How is your day today? Thanks for asking me, Pepe. Day wasn't bad. Pretty productive. Working on some stuff. Hello from Ghana. Hello from Canada. Thanks for joining the stream. Hello from Egypt. Very cool. Travis, how you doing? Hello from the States. Very good. So is competitive programming a gimmick? Yes, it is. It's very much a gimmick. Don't waste your time on that. Learn the basics and then jump into real-world programming and you get to where you want to get much faster. Just got my first co-op as a Django developer in Toronto. Good stuff. However, I do not see a lot of job opportunities in my area after the internship ends. What would you recommend to build up a second language? What would you recommend to build up a second language? Look at the job opportunities in your area and then build up on that. But do one thing at a time, If you do good Java development with Django, if you good development with Django, those skills will be transferable to any other full stack framework. What do you think is the biggest field in terms of jobs in Montreal? Web dev, AI, embedded, web dev. Although AI is pretty big here. What should I do when run into bugs? What should you do when run into bugs? Debug them. Yeah, you have to, it starts with writing good software. Software that's very fine-grained and very modular. And then you have good error reporting built into the objects that you create, assuming you're object-oriented programming. And so that by having segmented software and having good error reporting, that will help you more quickly pinpoint errors to begin with. If you look up on this channel, you'll find a bunch of videos where I get into details about that. Also use a debugger. Can you do a video roadmap for web development? I will do one. People ask, I will do one. As a web developer, should we need to be so good at data structures and algos to progress? No, you don't. It's very rare you need to know that stuff. What is the compensation for a new full stack developer in your region of Canada? I don't know. I imagine it's in the 40-50 range, but don't quote me on that. How important is a well-designed resume? It is very important, very important. Yeah, banking has a lot of .NET and C out there, and they're a big employer, a decent amount of web out there. Yeah. Still in lockdown in the Great White North? Oh yeah, more than just lockdown. We're now in curfews. We're in curfews. I think we're not allowed out. I think starting Saturday, we're not allowed out until after 8. It's like I'm back in middle school again. What they're trying to do is they're trying to prevent people from having house parties. I don't think it's which they say that, and this is I totally believe, they say that the COVID was spread by people going to parties at their houses. So the first time they locked down, they said, "Oh my God, COVID's spreading because everybody's getting together at their houses having parties. So we're going to shut down all the restaurants. But we're going to leave the schools open." So they went through that. Summer comes, winter comes in with COVID this winter, and the schools are open, restaurants are open, and they say, oh my God, COVID's spiking again, and it's because people are having a lot of parties. So we're going to shut down all the restaurants, and but the schools will stay open. So they're doing that again. They're keeping the restaurants shut. They're keeping the schools open, at least partially. But they said that it's all in the people having Christmas parties and January parties and New Year's Eve parties at home. Go figure. I don't know how it makes sense, but whatever. You figure if all the problem is with the home parties, that's what the curfew is all about. They wanted people to not go to parties, and. But, I would say, okay, do a curfew and let people go to restaurants, since apparently there was no infections in restaurants. And apparently, I don't know about the schools. At one point, I think they were saying the schools, there's a lot of contagion. I'm not sure about that, though. But anyway, it's very complex. All these variables flying around. They're doing things, as they can. And, I'm not in it every day, so I don't have a strong opinion, except, if there's those cases coming out of restaurants, why are we, Anyway, what do you use to display comments on the screen? I have a piece of software called Ecamm that does that, makes it easy for me. Are you lighting soft and warm? Yeah, good eye, man, exactly. I like your lighting. Oh, so you like it, sorry, yeah, it is, exactly. Yeah. I'm using... in lighting, I'll read this question. Hi from me. What are the upcoming framework and Python competition with Laravel like? What are the upcoming framework and Python competition with Laravel like? I'm not sure what you mean. They both have their niches. They're both viable. In lighting, you have the idea of warm light and cold light. Cold light is like daylight. It's very stark white, and warm light is like firelight. It's got like a orange tinge. So, do you think headless CMS approach will take over WordPress in the near future? I don't think so. WordPress is so dominant. How should I do be expert in programming? Write lots of code for real jobs. Does having a programming major help when finding jobs? It does. Not absolutely necessary, but it does help. Does your Python course make one a job-ready programmer? It gets you, like, I'd say 90% of the way there. It depends on your aptitudes. I've had people get jobs right away, right after my code courses. If you did my Python full stack course, that would be yes, because I know several people have done it. What would you recommend? Freelance versus a regular software job? That's a personality-driven thing. Freelance has its pros and its cons. Working for somebody has its pros and its cons. So it's really a personality-driven thing. Pros and cons. Pros and cons of freelancing. Pros are you get to set your hours, choose your jobs, fire your clients if you want. You can make a lot more money once you establish yourself. There's a lot of flexibility there. The cons with freelancing, there's that startup time in terms of getting your first clients. You work alone at first a lot. You may like that. Working for somebody, you have to do what they say. These are the cons. Working for somebody, you have to do what they say. You have to show up at a particular time. With COVID, you may not have to go to a particular place. And you're told what to do. You may like that. But the pros is that you're told what to do. You have limited responsibility, unlike freelancing where you have total responsibility. You get paid. You may when you freelance, it may take 6 months, 8 months before you start really ramping up there. Whereas with a job, you have it, you start making your full money right away. It depends, man. It's a personality thing. What do you think about doing coding challenges? Let's say code words. I think you're better off learning your basics and then actually doing real work. Do you think that people like you think that competitive programmers are given because they're basically trash at it? I've never done competitive programming because that came years after I was programming. And I'm not sure what the point of competitive programming is. To write really good software, it's about interpersonal skills, good code, best coding practices, knowledge of APIs, being able to follow through. You learn all that by building things and getting paid to do it and building reputation. Why don't you get paid? Is being a freelancer better, being in a software company job better? Depends. I've covered that. How many businesses closed down there? Quite a few. Quite a few. We're not going to see the real damage until 6 months after COVID. I think it's going to be pretty devastating. Stefan, have who wants to learn development and other to maintain his site only. So he wants a course that would take him 2 months to learn everything basic. Any advice? Yeah, my web development course. I've had people take my web development course and go for jobs after 2 months and beat people with computer science degrees. So they tell me. You can check out the Google reviews. Small company, well-filed framework, or big company with frameworks like Vue or React for first internship seeking for what front-end career. Go with big company framework because frameworks will speed up the process of you learning how to build good software, because good frameworks that rise in popularity, they rise in popularity because they're well designed. They're not perfect, but they're well designed, and it's kind of the consensus in terms of what people want to see in software, the community. So I would do that. Like back in the day, back in the 90s, there were web frameworks, but I didn't like them, and they were very primitive by today's standards. And anyway, they got in the way of what I was doing. The web frameworks back in the day were really designed for enterprise level for the most part. And when I was getting into it big time, so I developed my own. And why did I get into this whole conversation? But I only developed my own because I didn't find anything suitable, but they became very productive for me. I forget why I got into it, sorry. Okay, we got this one. Okay. There we go. No. You French speak aside from English because you are Canadian, correct? Bien sûr, je parle le français. Yeah, I know about Quebec side, whereas people speak French in Canada. Yeah. I'm not a French Canadian, although I have some a lot of French Canadian blood in me. Mais sûrement, je parle français, mais c'est pas souvent que je parle français parce que, I don't know. Some people speak a lot of French, some people speak daily, and some people are like me, are more Anglophone, as they say. So everyone at my job is self-taught, and I feel this keeping me from learning the skills I need to succeed. Is it a good idea to leave after only 1 year? I don't know. It depends on whether or not you're being challenged at work with jobs that are challenging, that are introducing new technology. At the end of the day, it's what's at the end of the day? At the end of the day, you as a pro developer are kind of responsible for your own learning after you get into the job. Trust me, just build things. That's how you're going to learn 10 times faster. It's like fighting. You want to learn how to fight? If you're boxer, jiu-jitsu, boxing, jiu-jitsu, or Muay Thai, after you get your basics, you just get in a ring, man. We are on a curfew, but for other reasons. Is it the political stuff down there? I don't know. 8 p.m. to 5 p.m., but you can walk your dog with 1.5 kilometers, so dogs have more rights now. Yeah. Any ground coffee recommendation that can be bought online? No, I don't. I discovered, it's almost embarrassing. I discovered beans, grinding your own beans with a burr machine. The coffee tastes much better. To my surprise. Your stream froze yesterday. I know. My internet crapped out. I'm not sure if it's my router or it's the pipes. filling up because everybody's at home on COVID. I have to contact my high-speed internet provider. I get big high-speed internet. See what they have to say. Hey Stefan, I will graduated in 2021, not from so good college. What have I done? What have I done to get into FANG and Microsoft? You got to build a really fantastic resume. A fantastic resume. That will do it. So do really good work, real good projects, contribute to GitHub projects, you know, they're open source, maybe that could help. Greetings from Michigan, greetings from Montreal. Skulls have not been shown to be major spreaders. Yeah, it could be, but it could be regional as well, but I don't discount that. As far as I understand, what I heard up here in Quebec, it's been just the home parties. You know, close together, recirculating with grandma and grandpa, getting them sick, you know. What are the Olympiad informatics competitions like? I don't know. All right, how we do for time? So, okay. Hi, I'm 39 years old. I'm thinking of changing my career from mechanical engineering into coding data science. Any tips? Too late. I'm thinking of doing a master's of data science this year. No, not too late. The fact that you got a background in mechanical engineering will allow you to slide into a job pretty easily, I think. So I would start learning to code on the side to transition out of your career as a mechanical engineer. You might be able to, once you learn the code, you might be able to start doing more coding at the current workplace. Talk to your boss to see what they say. Let's say what the Shikar says. Can you share any website in order to take a reference for database design? Example, multi-vendor e-commerce. Can you share any website in order to take a reference for database design? I'm not sure what you're asking me there. Yeah, love from the UK. Thanks. Love from Canada. Hello from Nepal. Nepal. Very cool. Wow. That might be a first. Stefan, is it better to be front-end or back-end developer than to be full stack? If you are going for freelance, full stack is better. I'm not sure about the job-wise. I would imagine full stack and back-end, you know, traditionally they were the ones who got the most respect and the highest pay. But front-end has become pretty complex now, so it depends. Which back-end tech do you prefer for building a React app? For building a React app? Which back-end tech? I have never built a React app. I don't think it really matters, you know. It probably all use JSON anyway to communicate between each other, so who cares? They all do it now, whether it be JS on the back end or Java or C# or Python or PHP. Which valuable degree, information technology or computer science? Information technology or computer science. I don't know what the information technology comprises of in terms of a degree. You can't go wrong with computer science for sure. What would you recommend going through tutorial or documentation or framework like React or Vue once I know CSS, HTML, CSS? Well, if you're comfortable building responsive websites and you know you're comfortable writing code, comfortable with JavaScript, then you might just go to YouTube and find a learn React in 10 minutes or learn Vue in 10 minutes. And you should be able to, if you're properly trained in the CSS, HTML, and JavaScript, you should be able to pick up Vue very quickly and then just get into the docs. Minimum skills to get an intern as a front-end web dev. HTML, CSS, some JavaScript, learn about HTTP, learn the basics of just the web and how the full stack works. You don't have to be a full stack developer. Good communication skills. All right, what do we got here? All right, yeah, let's do that. This guy Matthews, he's a bright guy. Yeah, I appreciate the thumbs up. If I get thumbs up, it's good for the Google algorithm, so I appreciate them. We have a saying in Mexico, 1 hour in Python is 7 years in assembly. That's why I love Ruby, but surely not as much as you do. For some reason, that's funny. That's good. Competitive programming is just something to do for fun. It doesn't have much practical use. Yeah. If you want to get better at coding and be competitive by writing apps, building stuff. Where do you live? I live in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Let's gather some thumbs and celebrate success with Stefan. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys. I did speak French. Bien sûr, je parle français. Good evening, Sunrise, Florida here. Hot hoot hoot. Florida. I like Florida. I have some friends who live in Florida. They're trying to convince me to move down there. It might happen. I do not have courses in Vue or React. You do my full stack, you'll be able to go to a YouTube video in 10 minutes and 20 minutes and learn on your own. You need courses in the basics, the fundamentals, so you understand objects and basic constructs of programming and how the web stack works and how HTTP works, all those concepts, how to write clean code, how to refactor, object orientation, why you do it. Once you have that, then to use a framework, a tutorial could get you there pretty quickly, but once you have those basics, you can just do the docs and get up and running. The good ones will have like how to get up and running quickly with Vue, and they'll just give you the common implementations, and then you can just do everything else with Google. That's why I don't do I don't do the modern libraries and so forth, because I don't think there's a need. Because once you do my fundamentals, then you don't need me to do that. I'm watching this live stream with a friend who studies history at the university, but seeing this, he has changed his mind to take up web development. Kudos, Stef. You just helped someone decide. You're welcome. And congratulations on the decision. Yeah, that's the most stressful thing for a lot of people, including me, as much as I feel stress. I'm a very stressful guy. Is just that indecision, trying to decide what you're going to do. Like, what car you're going to buy, where are you going to put quartz or marble for your granite countertops. Once you make that decision, it's just so much easier. Okay, let's go. Agree, when you grib coffee blondes, store them in freezer. When you grind it, yeah. What's this? Burr makes all the difference, indeed. Looking to budget myself to Breville eventually. Yeah. You burr that coffee, man. Oof, the beans, fantastic. Steve, how are you? Happy New Year. You too, man. It's Stefan, but some people call me Steve. My ex-girlfriends, you don't want to know what they call me. All right, let's go on. Greetings. How are we doing for that? Greetings from the UK. Your teaching skills rock. I love this guy. Love the UK. I mentioned that I am fully qualified to say this because I have your complete web developer course and it fits like a glove. Many thanks. Cheers. Well, thanks for letting me know. I'm glad the program is working for you. Fantastic. Yeah, my father would be proud. He's a teacher as well. So, yeah, if you don't grind, your coffee is no good. Yeah, I've tried like expensive, powdered. And grinding the beans, it just makes all the difference, guys. It's huge. It's huge. I've heard that companies are more likely to hire a fresh PHP dev versus a fresh front-end dev. Is that true? Yeah, backend has always been the more in-demand job. And still is to this day. Howdy, is Flutter mature enough to support enterprise web apps nowadays? That I couldn't say. I would imagine so, though, because I believe that Google is using Flutter for AdSense or AdWords, I believe. I'm 96.69% certain of that. So if Google is using it for their key money-making app, I imagine it's pretty good. There we go. When you put your, hold on, here we go. When you put your beans in a coffee grinder, freeze it, yeah. Well, I grind and I and I prepare it right away. My mouse is starting to give me trouble here. Can you share any website in order to take a reference for database design? I'm not sure what you mean by that question, dude. Sorry. Good vibes, good vibes. All right, 40 minutes in. I started Python about 2000. There you go. Isn't that interesting how it's funny. It's one of the things people are, I can understand. There's this tradition in software development where you're always looking for the newest, right? And this was very relevant in the 1990s, early to mid 2000s. But in all technologies, life cycles, whether it be programming languages, databases, cars, chemical industry, there's always a cycle at early stages of an industry's development. You see this rapid change in the technology and how they do things. But eventually, it kind of flattens out because they figured out how to do it. So I can tell you from the early 1990s up until about 2000 and I'd say 2010, there was a rapid change, but it slowed down. In the 90s, it was like every year or so, there was big changes, boom, boom, boom. But it started to slow down, slowly slowed down, and the rate of change has slowed considerably. The big change in the last 5 years has not been in actually how you code the apps, it's how you deploy them and DevOps. Yeah, Python 2.5 was the first really great version of Python. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, see, here's a common thing. 2.5 is, when you go from the 2x branch of Python to the 3x branch, which is the current branch, there are significant differences. But there are translators. You can translate your Python 2x branch code into 3. They're not perfect, but they can do a lot. And there's some minor differences, I think, like if I recall, in the way you declare functions or something. There are differences. But if you learn Python 2, let's say you got a Python 2 course from 8 years ago. You found some old... For you to learn Python 3 would take you maybe an extra half an hour at best. They're very, very similar. And I mentioned that in terms of my point is that the things have really matured in terms of the coding world. Meaning they're not changing so much. What will you choose, Mern or Mean as full stack developer? I don't have an opinion there because I'm not familiar enough with those to have a good enough opinion. Salut Stefan. What happened to the last stream? I was cut off short for some. Yeah, my internet connection went. Mon connexion d'internet est tombée. It fell. Speaking bad French there. React is tough if you're new. Well, learn your basics. Make sure you're very comfortable with JavaScript and your JavaScript and your HTML and your CSS. How we do every time. Okay, we're going to be wrapping up the stream soon. There are many online courses out there which offers jobs and completing computer science degree. What would you think will benefit you later in life? Online course, certif, or computer science degree? I think that what's going to benefit you later on is a really good resume. Lots of work experience. Online degrees and certifications are not very important as you have more and more experience. They help you to start things going, but that's about it. And I think that over time, degrees are becoming less important because the culture is changing in regards to that. When you got Elon Musk, who's now the richest man in the world, saying that he doesn't care if you have a degree, college or high school, to hire you at Tesla, that should tell you something. He's not the only one. I'm nervous about starting my computer science degree this fall because I'm graduating from high school this year. The question I have, do you ever have time to spend with family aside from work? Oh yeah. Don't worry. Listen, you're young. You got to grind it out now. If you're getting this degree and you're not going to be in massive debt and so on, then do it. Let's get it done. Listen, you either pay now in terms of work and study, or you pay later with massive interest. What do I mean by that? People who slacked off when they were younger, people I know, when they got older, in 30s and 40s and later, 50s, they're paying because they're doing, they didn't put in the time and effort when they were young, so they're way behind the game. Jobs they have are paid much less, et cetera, and they could turn it around, right? That's the thing about coding. Within months, you can start, jumping into the game and start racking up the money, even at an older age. I know people in their 50s are making very good money coding, but yeah, I would say just don't worry, just do it now. You have, as you become more established, you have more time to spend with your family and so on. But put in the work now. Trust me, it will pay off. It will pay off. Hello, Stefan. I am currently going to a technical high school, and I'm currently trying to figure out if I should study software design and development or computer science. I do a little more research. I think there's a lot of crossover there. Look at the job opportunities, look at where you might want to work, see what they're looking for. But yeah, I think either or, you can't go wrong, Just wanted to say this as someone who has taken courses online and in good universities. Online courses, in my opinion, teach a lot more, and the good ones point you where to go to learn more. Yeah, I can see that because, what I teach is based on my experience. I'll talk about what I do, so I don't know everybody out there. Since I've been in industry for years, what I teach, I know you need to know to write professional code. What are your preferred Python web frameworks? Django, Flask, Boto, other? I'm new in that area and have started with Boto. Maybe Matthew can chime in on that. I think I don't have a preferred one because I don't use these. I think the two big ones are Django and Flask. If you're just learning, it's fine. Learn any one, doesn't matter because they're all similar in many respects. There's differences, don't get me wrong, but once you learn one framework, it's like learning to drive a car. Once you learn to drive a manual Porsche, you can drive a manual anything, right? I think Django is probably the most popular out there job-wise. I would start sniffing around the job market, So yes, this guy says Boto is cool. That's good. Hi, Stef. I got the book you recommended for refactoring Java. Very cool. And it really provides valuable insights in how to manage your code. Just finished the first chapter, planning and finish all before my next project. Thanks. I'm glad you like it, Jan. It's a great book. It's one of the few books I still keep from the back in the day. Django takes a lot of place on the market. Yeah. Yo, Sergeant Comancho. How you doing? I'm waiting for home roasters to come down in price. There you go. Yeah. How can I improve feedback in my internship company? Next message. I like Pyramid 2. Okay. How long does it take to become a lizard wizard? That's good. I like that. You'll start gaining lizard skills via the transference of lizard lore from me, and you'll be on your way to wizard status over time. But like anything else, you have to build the skill set. So you could get in training in MMA from Conor McGregor and or get boxing training from Mike Tyson, but you still have to practice it, right? Have you ever visited the UK? If not, would you? I've been to the UK. My brother lives in Ireland, in Dungannon, and I spent a few weeks there, and I really like it, especially like London and Dublin. Yeah. Do you have an espresso machine? No, I don't drink espresso. I just filter coffee, cold brews. Steph, do you have a favorite design pattern for OOP? Yes, the filter pattern. That's what they call that in Java servlets. I use something called a servlet filter. It's kind of like a decorator. That's what I prefer because it allows you to modify the stream of data without having to go into the base code. So yeah, that was my favorite pattern when I did Java Decorator. I did that all the time. Decorator, of course, MVC, which all the modern framework, well, not all of them, most of them are based on anyway. Hi, Stefan. Thanks again for the great content in both your site and your YouTube channel. I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know. My question to you is, what kind of apps can you make with Python? A whole lot. A whole lot. In fact, I've been surprised at what people do with Python. Apparently some very popular video games have been created with Python. You could do all kinds of things with it. That's its main power. Python's main power is its flexibility in implementations. Agree. Freeze beans in small bags and take them out to grind. Just measure only out what you need for that day, though. Rest goes in fridge. Yeah. Pretty much with that. Okay. So I'm going to be wrapping up. Already 50 minutes. Wow. Looking to freelance in the next month or so. Currently looking to do static site for maybe local business. Any common pitfalls? Need to draft contract proposal, have a portfolio site. Yeah. Well, I get into all kinds of detail with my my freelance course, including contract templates and work templates and stuff. Low power, so I'm gonna have to let you go because my battery power on my camera is about to go. But yeah, that's what I would do. What's the pitfall? Common pitfalls. Just dealing with clients, managing your clients' expectations. So with that, I'll let you go because my camera's about to go. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.